Hi, I'm Shannon.
And I'm Taylor.
And you're listening to Nefarious. We are two 911 night shift dispatchers that decided to give our perspective on cases and events that happen before and after the emergency call. We cope with difficult situations, calls, and life with dark humor. We mean no disrespect. Our intentions are always to research and present information correctly and truthfully.
Warning: the audio you're about to hear is intended for mature audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
911, what's the location of your emergency?
It's 18892 Palm Springs. Cancel that. 18892 Indian Springs.
Okay, what's going on there?
I just shot my mother and
You shot your mother?
I committed a double homicide.
Okay, you shot your mom and who?
My nephew.
Okay. What happened?
I lost my mind.
Okay, what's your name?
My name is Adrien Wallace.
Okay. Do you know if they are they alive at this point?
I don't think so. I shot him multiple times.
Okay.
Fuck, I just committed a murder.
Okay. Where are you right now, sir?
My home.
Okay.
What was my home.
Okay.
Wasn't going to be my home.
What did you shoot them with?
308 rifle.
Where is that gun now?
That's on the ground.
Where at?
Murderers do.
Okay. Where did you put it?
We're on the ground.
Okay, outside or?
It's near the homicide scene.
Okay. Where exactly is that? Is it inside the house or?
Outside.
Okay. In the back of the house or the front of the house?
In the front of the house.
Okay. And are you inside now?
I'm ready to surrender.
Okay.
I don't give a shit about this life anymore. I don't care.
Okay, well, I don't want you to do anything to yourself, okay? I don't want you to kill yourself.
Yeah, I know. You want your case.
No, sir, that's
Have a case.
That's not what
Good.
I'm getting at.
Great. Fine. Wonderful.
Okay, are you inside or outside?
I'm smoking a cigarette in the garage.
Okay.
My last cigarette, I suppose.
Are you armed at all now?
I don't really respect your cops at all, but no. If they treat me with respect,
okay,
I'll go ahead and be a prisoner. That's fine.
Okay, so you're not armed with any weapons any longer?
No.
Okay. Okay. Is anybody else there with you?
No.
Okay. Can I ask your date of birth, sir?
I don't remember. It's
Okay.
1971, I think.
Okay. So you said that you went crazy, you had some kind of mental break?
Well, I'm going to open the garage door. I can't believe I did what I did.
Okay. I wanna help you as much as I can. Okay, so whatever you
No,
need.
I did what I did.
No, I know, but anything.
People have been killed.
Okay.
It's a criminal act. I committed a crime.
Okay.
People are dead. They're not moving around.
Okay. We don't know that. We might be able to help them still.
People are dead.
Okay.
This is it.
Okay. I believe you.
Sounds like you didn't have it coming. Fucking scumbag.
What brought this on?
Well, multiple repeated fucking crimes, child abuse, shit like that.
Okay. Against you?
Why are you asking me this stuff? Just fucking arrest me and throw me in a cage.
Sir, I'm sending people to come help you, okay?
Help me.
Yes, they're on the way to come help you, okay?
Hello? I just committed a double fucking homicide.
I understand.
There's no help. You're just trying to protect your officers. Where are they? I'm surrendering.
They're coming as fast as they can, sir.
You don't do what I did and get away with it. That's against the law. I surrender. Just give me a fucking cop, I surrender. That's how it is.
They're coming as fast as they can. I promise you that, okay?
If you're going to act like you're personally interested, I was an abused child. My scumbag family lied and lied and lied about it. And I just snapped.
Okay.
I just couldn't take the lies no more. You're tapping on your keyboard. I can hear that.
Yes, because like I told you, I'm sending officers out there to come help you, okay? And I'm trying to get them to come in as fast as they can. They are driving as fast as they can right now to you. I promise you that.
Well, just fucking kill me because I'm not going to kill myself.
Okay, we don't want to kill you either.
Yeah, you do.
No, sir, I do not want to kill you, and none of those officers want to kill you either.
Read that in the handbook or something?
No, I'm serious. I'm being serious with you. I'm being dead honest with you.
What part of double homicide do you not understand?
I know that you
I'm
had.
the bad guy
I know that you had to be hurting to do what you did.
I used to be the good guy. I used to help people.
I know.
Now
that you had
I'm
to
the
be
fucking murderer. I just killed 2 people.
I understand. I understand that you have done something horrible.
Do you understand that I just killed 2 people?
Yes, I do.
I
I'm
used to be the good guy. I used to help people. Then a bunch of so tell me about yourself scumbags discriminated against me, made me impossible to employ. These motherfuckers betrayed me for the last goddamn time. I'm part of a family that fucking child molester scumbags.
I agree. And like I said,
911 operator stuff.
Sir, no, that's not what I'm doing.
What you're trying to do is keep me on the phone so the cops can sneak up on me.
No, they're not going to sneak up on you.
You understand? I just shot my mother.
They're not going to sneak up on you. They know that you know. I told them that you were aware that they're coming.
In a fucking prison cell because I don't want to do this anymore.
They're coming as fast as they can. I promise. They are not trying to sneak up on you. They know that you called.
Just give me some handcuffs in a fucking prison cell. Shoot me in the head. Kill me.
Sir, nobody wants to kill you.
Yes, you do.
Nobody wants you dead. What has happened to you is
we'll
horrible.
do it by the process of law. We'll
what has happened to you is horrible.
And stuff, then you'll kill me.
No, what has happened to you is horrible. What happened to your family is horrible. What happened to everybody here is horrible.
My mother's brains are on the driveway.
Okay.
Driveway I cleaned for her, and
I know you don't
hell
feel
doesn't
good
result.
about that. I know you don't. They're coming as fast as they can. They are coming as fast as they can.
Well, they're being real slow because they're going to see a goddamn mess, and it's going to be a fucking tragedy.
I know that this is horrible. I'm so sorry.
You deal with this stuff all the time, do you?
Not like this, no.
You don't have a confession on the phone.
Not usually, no.
Well, I don't like your society.
You don't like my society?
That's right.
I don't like it sometimes either. I know.
I like this. But fuck it. Fuck it.
I'm very sorry for what's happened to you.
Just get your cops here. I'm waiting to surrender.
They're coming. I know.
I don't want to do this anymore.
Thank you for calling.
What are you supposed to do when you shoot your fucking mother in the head?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know what I would do.
I hear a sound. My hands are up. Not like I care. And it's the wrong car. My mother's brains are on the ground. Somebody, please just fucking kill me.
Nobody wants to kill you, sir.
Well, I made a deal a long time ago
With who?
with God.
Okay. What was that deal?
Help everybody I could help, and I was going to walk away from everybody I couldn't. And I broke that deal today.
We all do things that we don't have any way to explain. We all break promises with God.
Murder.
We
I'm
don't
a
all do
fucking
that.
murderer now.
You know what, though? Each sin is still a sin.
I'm a murderer.
For you're a human being.
Well, yeah, and a murderer,
You're
that's
a human
not
being.
okay.
I
That's
know.
wrong.
I know it's wrong. But we all do things that are wrong.
They're dead.
I know.
Okay. So that was the call.
You're behind.
I'm struggling. All right. So in the very beginning of the call, once again, like a lot of ours that we listened to, I thought he was eerily calm.
Mm-hmm.
That changed pretty quickly into the call. Considering what just took place, he was very matter of fact. And then he started to say some weird stuff. Like when the dispatcher asked where the gun was, he said it's in murderer's view. That's a weird answer.
Oh, I didn't hear that, but I
Yeah.
must have missed it.
That's a weird answer to that question. Like, okay, so it's where you can see it. That doesn't tell us anything. And so she's like, where exactly is it at? He said where exactly was he at? He said he was at home. It wasn't going to be his home. That comes back up later. But it's one of those things where whenever you're asking questions, people can answer a question in the most vague way possible that gives you no information. Murderer's view tells me nothing.
Yeah.
So she asked him, she's like, is it inside? Is it outside? And he says, it's near the homicide scene.
Mm-hmm.
Not a wrong answer, but useless. Where is the homicide scene is what we're trying to figure out.
I'm sure I'm not supposed to like him, but he's fucking hilarious.
No, you're not supposed to like
I'm not
the
like, I
murderer.
don't like him. Fuck him, he's bad. I assume because he killed his mom and nephew. But he said, I'm a murderer.
He's a smart ass for sure. And basically it's like, sometimes it's like pulling teeth to
Yeah.
an answer to a question.
Absolutely.
And it drives me insane. The one thing I'll give him credit for is when she asked his name, he gave first, middle, last.
Love that.
Every single call, I'm like, what's your name? And they're like,
Brad.
And then you're like, okay, Brad, what is your last name? And it's a hesitation. I'm like, when someone in a dispatch position or any kind of legal position asks your name, give the whole name.
Just a whole one.
Just the first, last.
Yeah.
He gave first, middle, last. So an immediate red flag is that he said he had just killed 2 people and he doesn't care about this life anymore. So
No.
my first thought whenever I heard that was, okay, we have a potential suicide by cop situation, which puts
I think that honestly
all
is
the
what,
responders in danger.
I don't want to say triggered the dispatcher, but she got very flustered after that comment.
Absolutely.
She had it until she said that, and then she just kind of nope. She kept stumbling over her words, trying to talk over him and things like that, which I can't imagine her call. So
Right. And the thing is she went from, this is a person who is in a crisis, a crime has been committed, to our main priority at the end of the day is to get our people home safely.
Yeah.
So she has to balance keeping him on the line, keeping him as calm as possible, which he was very agitated, and still trying to give information to the officers, protect those officers, give
Right.
them all the information they need. I mean,
it's hard to control your call anyways, much less with that
it is.
whole factor.
Oh, absolutely.
And his dumbass comments.
So she did good, not only asking the location of the murder weapon, but also if he was currently armed. So, okay, murder weapon is murderer's view at the crime scene in the front yard. Got it. Do you have any other weapons? Because you don't ever know.
But he was in the garage smoking a cigarette.
His last.
His
is what he
last
said.
cigarette day.
We can appreciate that. Nicotine will help calm you down. Maybe should have smoked one before.
We do not endorse smoking.
We don't. That's we vape. The dispatcher, I thought, did as good a job as possible with this. There was some overlap there. One of the key phrases that she kept saying is they're coming as fast as they can. So I don't think what the general population understands is we can't tell you when the officer is going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
There's a liability issue there, and every dispatch school in the entire country is going to teach. We don't give ETAs because that's going into a promise with that caller. If we look up at our screen, because a lot of agencies, including ours, we have the officer's location. We know where they're at that moment. It updates like every 6 seconds or something. So, and a lot of times it'll tell us like how long till they're on scene. But if we say that officer is going to be there in 5 minutes, and God forbid he hits a deer, wrecks his car, and he's delayed, we've now given a contract with that caller that we're then liable for. So that's why we always say they're coming as quickly and as safely as they possibly can.
Yeah.
I promise they're driving everything those cars will do, but we still can't tell you how long it's going to take them to get there. And at one point, she's trying to de-escalate him as much as possible. And he's not stupid. Like, he said, "Are you reading this from a handbook to me?" Like, he called her on it.
I know.
And he's like, "I hear you typing." And it's those things that I think would throw me off on that call. And I'm like, well, yeah, you have to document what's being said.
Yeah, you can tell her she got nervous.
Yeah,
she got
absolutely.
nervous. But I mean, like, I can't imagine. But
and also, like, once the facts were done and she's just trying to talk to him about, like, what may or may not have happened to cause this, that call felt excruciatingly long for me. So it's like a 10-minute call. In our world, 10 minutes from call to on scene is not unheard of by any means. Mm-hmm. That is a long call to sit there and try to make conversation with a double murderer, which he wanted to be very adamant.
Did you hear me? I double homicide.
It's almost like he was looking for validation from her for her to call him a murderer.
Yeah.
Which was very weird. It was just a very odd call. It started off calm and then it went to chaos pretty quickly. So this happened on June 4th, 2012 in Clackamas County, Oregon. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Clackamas.
America.
Clackamas.
Okay.
Clackamas County, Oregon. The deputies responded at 6:17 p.m. to a report of shots fired and 2 fatalities in the 18,000 block of Southwest Indian Springs Circle, where they found the bodies of Sandra Sue Wallace, who was 71, and Nikki Brian Juarez, who was 16. Both of them had gunshot wounds to their heads. So this call that this dispatcher took, there was also other neighbors because this was like a residential area. So neighbors heard and saw this crime take place because it was outside the home. Some of them said that they heard what sounded like fireworks. We get those calls a lot, fireworks versus gunshots. And others said that they heard between 8 and 15 booming shots. So a .308 rifle is like a deer hunting rifle. It's a pretty powerful gun. So I'm sure in a residential neighborhood that could be heard for quite a ways.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like it was a .22. This is a big gun. So a swarm is how it was listed. A swarm of police officers arrived. I'm sure it was everyone that was on duty because this is a big case.
What state was this in again? I'm sorry.
Oregon. He put his hands in the air, phone in one hand, still had dispatch on the line, and based on police commands, he did walk backwards, drop to his knees, whole 9 yards. He was arrested without incident.
That's good. I was nervous about that.
Absolutely, because it did sound like...
Because he kept just saying, fuck it, kill me.
Yeah, and he said that he doesn't respect the police officers, blah, 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 so you don't really know how that's going to end.
Yeah.
But luckily, he was taken into custody without incident. So when he got to the office, the detectives began interviewing him, and they asked him, they said, "What is the first thing that you remember doing today?" His answer was shooting people. So still a smart ass, even in the interrogation room. I know you can appreciate this person.
That's the dark humor of me. I don't support this by any means.
Absolutely. He accused detectives of looking for deeper motives. He said, "You're looking for a drug deal and espionage or some James Bond shit." The detectives repeatedly asked Wallace why he killed his relatives, and he blamed his mother and then also the 16-year-old Nick and his sister, who is Nick's mother.
What did the 16-year-old do?
We'll get into that.
Oh.
So he said that his sister was physically abusive to him when he was 5 years old. He faults her for the time he spent in a juvenile detention facility after he assaulted her when he was 15. So he did have a history of violence, even though there was no criminal history. Wallace said that Nick, who was the 16-year-old, hated him because of his skin color. So Wallace, the murderer, is white. And Nick was biracial. So his father was Hispanic, his mom was white.
Okay.
He said he hated me because of my skin color.
Wait, the Hispanic hated the white man?
No, yes. He's saying that the 16-year-old Nick, who was half Hispanic, half white, hated him because he was white.
Okay.
He said that it was the attitude that Nick inherited from his father. His father hated me too, treated me like crap, blamed me for stuff I didn't do. He's a Mexican, is how he worded this. He also blamed others for him being unemployed. He said that people who made hiring decisions had no understanding of his technical skills. And according to the sources that I read, he had not worked at all since 2009. This is 2012. He's 41 years old and has not worked in 3 years. People had said that he was kind of a loner. He liked to be by himself. The jobs that he did have, he wanted to work alone. He did not like being around people. He said, it became perfectly obvious to me that I would never work again. When the detectives asked him, how do you spend your days? He said, I smoke cigarettes, drink beer, and try to be invisible. I considered suicide quite some time ago. I should have offed myself then. The detectives asked, what would have happened if you hadn't killed your mother and nephew? And he said, I'd have put a bullet in my head. Now I can't. Okay. So he clearly had some depression issues. And he was prescribed Prozac, which he was on, and quote unquote some other things, which he does not disclose in the interview apparently. And then he asked the detectives, he said, did they put my face on TV? Because people are looking at me like they know me. So between wanting to keep repeating that he's a double murderer and comments like that, I'm like, is he doing this to get the recognition?
Right.
Like there's some aspect of that there. And they said, if you could say anything to your mother, what would you say? And he said, I would say, sorry, better me than you. And they said, what would you say to Nick? And he said, that's terrible. I feel like you got in the way. And the detective said, of what? He said, you got in the way of me and evil. So in that aspect, it almost seems like that maybe there was animosity towards his mother, but not the 16-year-old.
Right.
But that's not always the case. Wallace said that he loved his mother, but accused her of turning him into an alcoholic. She bought him cases of beer, because obviously he wasn't working. Bought him cases of beer, even though he asked her not to. Nevertheless, he still drank the beer.
You're 40 fucking years old.
There's beer in the house. You don't have to drink it, but that's what he was blaming it on. He said she put me in a position where I needed her, making him dependent on her is what he was trying to say.
Because I'm sure a 70-year-old woman wants to take care of a 40-year-old man.
Absolutely. He said he needed her help in preparing for job interviews, because at 41 you don't have interview skills, but she wasn't responsive to his problems, is how he worded this. So clearly has a little bit of a victim mentality there, not wanting to take responsibility
like
for his
it's
own life.
always someone else's fault except his own.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He said after an explosive confrontation with Sue and Nick, between him, his mom, and his nephew, he was certain that he was going to be forced to move out of his mother's house.
Did the nephew live with the mom?
So, did not, actually. So, the nephew, this is in Oregon, the nephew lived in California, but every year he would come and spend time with his grandmother, which was
nice.
adorable, because they, bonded, they had a great relationship, and they were actually supposed to leave the next morning to go back to California for a week-long family reunion with her daughter, Nick's mom, in California.
No.
Yeah, so they were 12 hours from leaving.
That didn't happen, I assume.
It did not happen. It did not. It was supposed to be the day after the murders.
Oh.
It said what ended up happening is a confrontation happened that we'll get into, and Sue and Nick were getting in the car to leave, and that's when Mr. Wallace decided that he did not want them to leave. And he said, the detectives asked him, what would have happened if you had let them leave? He said, I would have taken the hit, just like I always have. I would have ended up on the street. So, we'll get into the specifics later, but basically there was a argument or some type of slight that Wallace perceived from the 16-year-old. And he then, went to his mom to try to, I guess, vent that he was offended by a 16-year-old as a 41-year-old man. And he tried to talk to her in code, And she's just like, I don't want to talk about this right now.
Mm-hmm.
And he was under the impression, from interviews and what he has said, he was under the impression that if they got in that car and left that night to go back to California, that Sue, his mom, was going to tell her daughter, Nick's mom, and that was going to cause him to be evicted from a home that he lived in rent-free. That's what this boils down to. He killed his mother and his nephew because he did not want to get a job and did not want to have a place of his own at 41 years old.
Wow.
Yeah. So when he was told that Nick, the 16-year-old, was shot 12 times.
12?
12 times with a .308 rifle. Like, one round will drop a deer in its tracks. You shot a 16-year-old child 12 times with a .308 rifle. Those bullets are like this.
Oh my gosh, man.
Mm-hmm. In the head. Whenever he was told that he had shot him 12 times, he said, "What? That's unbelievable. Some people would say that represents a whole lot of hate. I wasn't in my right mind. It makes no sense." Agreed. It makes absolutely no sense. He then went on in the interview to make this statement that pissed me off. He said that he would never achieve his fantasy, which was to live in a dream house in Acapulco. I can't afford to be able to say that. But like, he wanted a resort house on the beach.
But didn't want to work for it.
Right.
That's...
Yeah, we don't respect
Fuck
him
him.
at all. So, he was then charged with 2 counts of aggravated
He's
murder.
very self-righteous.
Absolutely. He made a deal with God that he was going to help people.
But he broke his deal. That's what he said.
He did break. He one hell of a deal breaker. So he was charged with 2 counts of aggravated murder. He confessed to a sheriff's detective that he fatally shot both his mom, Sue, and his nephew, Nicky, in the face with a .308 hunting rifle. He stood over his mother as she lay on the ground and shot her in the head. He then walked to their car, which was a Prius, stuck the barrel inside of it, and took aim and shot Nicky.
Nicky was in the car?
He was in the car.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So, Sergeant Adam Phillips from the Clackamas County Sheriff's Office said that deputies worked the crime scene for 10 hours.
Where?
Clackamas? I really hope I'm saying that correctly, but I don't know how else to say it. Look at this. Clackamas, right?
Sure.
If you run a tag and that pops up, how are you pronouncing it?
Probably not.
From Oregon.
From Oregon.
So they were there for 10 hours trying to process the scene, try to figure out what happened, collect evidence. They did take 5 firearms, which they included a loaded Benelli shotgun that was laying on his bed and a loaded AR-15 rifle that was in the back seat of his truck that was in the garage. And then also we know that there was at least a .308 rifle, which was the murder weapon, and then 2 other guns that I did not see what those were listed anywhere. He was obviously held without bail in jail. And he was also placed on suicide watch. Not sure if that was because of the comments that he made on the initial call or if something else happened. I couldn't find the specifics as to why, but he was put on suicide watch. So this happened.
Well, if he was making those comments to the dispatcher, I'm sure he made like little slick ass shit too.
Oh, absolutely.
The cops too.
So this happened in June. Trial was originally scheduled for October of
2012?
2013.
Okay.
And in September of 2013, so a month before the trial was supposed to start, the judge they ended up filing a insanity defense for him, and they wanted to have him evaluated. And so the first evaluation that he had, the judge turned down a challenge that was filed by defense attorneys after the psychiatric care staff at the Oregon State Hospital certified that he was competent to stand trial. Mm-hmm. So trial is rescheduled. The lawyers then filed a continuance and submitted a 1-page letter that he had written that was supposed to apparently give more credit to his insanity defense. So the document, which was not made public, apparently indicated that he may be suffering from paranoid schizophrenia. And so he was then returned to the Oregon State Hospital for another evaluation. And that, of course, delayed the case. So prosecutors said that Wallace's main diagnosis was major depressive disorder with a secondary diagnosis of paranoid personality disorder. Despite mental illness, they said he was fit to stand trial and had the capacity to work with his defense team if he chose to. Defense attorneys disagreed. They said that he was a paranoid schizophrenic. His condition caused him to mistrust them, and his delusions made him unwilling to participate in the defense. He apparently told his attorneys that he believed if he provided information to them, quote unquote, people will die. That's the basis of their insanity defense. When asked what he wanted in return for accepting a plea agreement that would allow him to avoid the death penalty. So they come to you and they're like, what do you want for you to take a deal to not get lethal injection?
Uh-huh.
He says, all I want is simple stuff, a puppy and a garden.
Okay. Yeah, I don't... Nope.
I feel like we're past the puppy and the garden phase.
Maybe a tiny garden. No puppies.
At some point, maybe you can become a trustee and work in lawn care. I think that's your only goal at this point.
Have tomatoes.
So 2 months later, he was found fit to stand trial for a second time.
Uh-huh.
And the trial was rescheduled. So this is 2013 now. It's rescheduled for June of 2014. So 2 years after the actual murders, we finally start getting
I
into
can't
the trial.
imagine his sister. Like, she lost her mom and son
She did.
on the same second.
Yeah.
Like, that's so sad.
And he's apparently in his interviews blaming her for part of it, for what she may have abused him when he was 5.
How much older is she?
I don't actually know that.
Okay.
So between 1986 and 1999, Wallace was evaluated 7 times by a psychiatrist because he does have a history of mental illness. So he was evaluated 7 times by a psychiatrist and psychologist, and according to testimony, each time the diagnosis was similar, moderate or major depression.
Okay.
So no paranoid schizophrenia, no personality disorders.
I was thinking schizophrenia. I mean, again, I'm not like a psychologist or
Oh
anything,
yeah,
but...
oh his mental health comes up a lot. So during that time, no one concluded that Wallace was psychotic or schizophrenic, although a psychiatrist that Wallace threatened to kill in 1993 did believe that he was delusional, and he had explosive episodes in the past, including punching his sister in the face as a teenager.
Oh.
Yeah. And in his 20s, he assaulted a former girlfriend and threatened to cut off his mother's fingers. There were warning signs.
Yeah. And his mama's a saint. I mean...
To let her son still live there. And we've had this talk before, that your kids are your kids no matter what.
Yeah.
But at some point, you're in danger.
Yeah.
We've also known people that have someone with mental health issues living in their home, and they lock their bedroom door at night or bar the door in some way. And I can imagine living in a home where you're terrified to go to sleep because of your child.
Yeah.
Like, I can't...
Like, that's not a home at all. Like, a home is supposed to be your safe space.
There is no winning situation there. You can't abandon your child, but
he's also 40.
he is.
So...
He is. I know.
Gosh, and I hate that. I mean, she was 70. Like, she had to deal with that for so long.
Oh, yeah. So the prosecutor described Adrien Graham Wallace as a maladjusted, beer-drinking recluse whose smoldering resentment led to the cold-blooded killings of his mother and his nephew. That's how they summarized him in the trial. Not an unfair statement,
No.
I would say. So during the trial, the defense attorneys presented the insanity defense, and a psychiatrist agreed that Adrien was a paranoid schizophrenic who believed he was acting on orders from God when he killed his mother and nephew execution style. So Dr. Beth Howell concurred with the defense psychologist Henry Miller that Wallace exhibited schizophrenic tendencies at an early age and had a psychotic break when he was in his early 20s, despite numerous encounters with mental health professionals throughout his life in the 90s all the way up until this is 2012. None of them ever diagnosed him as a schizophrenic. Instead, they found he suffered from, like I said, moderate to major depressive disorder. And he claimed that God regularly gave him missions.
This sounds like one of our callers.
It does. It really does.
Which is going to end up happening.
It is.
I hate to say it like that.
I know. So, the day of the killings, Sue had went shopping. She bought several cases of beer. Remember, she was going to go out of town.
Mm-hmm.
So she was, like, stocking up for him while she was going to be gone for a week.
Right.
He said that he was trying to quit drinking, and he believed that she was trying to kill him with alcohol. She's not chaining him down and pouring it down his throat.
Like waterboarding him.
She brought him into the house.
Beer boarding.
Well. And he thought that she was trying to kill him. So he said that he had a premonition that something bad was going to happen to Nick.
Uh-huh.
And...
it's him.
Right. I don't know if it's a premonition when it's just a premeditated murder.
Yeah.
He tried to talk to his mother, like I said before, in a code that they both understood. Wallace brought up the subject that troubled him greatly. He said that several years ago, this is when he was talking to his mom, day of the murder, he comes to her out of the blue and brings up an issue that happened several years ago when he was working, where 5 Hispanic men came into a restroom and apparently threatened to rape him.
Oh, gosh.
His mother told him that was an inappropriate topic, and she was possibly concerned that Nick, whose father was Hispanic, would overhear the conversation.
Right.
And so she's just like, let's not talk about that now.
And also, it's a 70-year-old. Like, it's a time and place to speak to a 70-year-old female about rape.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
I don't know, that sounded weird, but like that, I mean, I feel like that.
Yeah, it's something that happened years ago. I'm not sure, it did not say if this was the first time he had brought it to her attention,
Right.
but by the fact that she dismissed it, I would assume this was not the first time she'd heard the story, and she's just like, not right now. He told police that he was upset by a comment that Nick had made the day of the shooting. So the 16-year-old and the 41-year-old both love video games, and the 16-year-old, Nick, was playing a video game by himself, not with Wallace at all, by himself. Wallace heard him say, quote unquote, beat it after winning a game. He took that as an offense to himself, the 41-year-old. Hearing a 16-year-old just say the words beat it, he took that as some type of offense, and he went on a tirade, is how it was explained, making racist comments about Nick, again, whose father is Hispanic. So he was a little upset that his mother and Nick were about to leave for California. A little upset is how it was described. That his mother and Nick were about to leave for California because he thought that she was going to go tell her daughter, which was Nick's mom, and he was going to be evicted. So that's what this boils down to. Mm-hmm. So he says that he decided to commit suicide and was trying to figure out where he wanted to do it. His bedroom, the patio, or in a park. When he received an order from God, you're supposed to shoot them instead. Now, he said that this was not the mission that he wanted. He hoped for something a little more dramatic.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
That's what he said. He told the investigators that he fantasized about stealing a gasoline tanker and crashing it into Bridgeport Village, which was a mall in their area. I'd like to rampage at Bridgeport, he told his attorneys and the psychiatrist that were evaluating him.
Shooting a 16-year-old child 12 times? Something like that?
12 times. Shot a 16-year-old 12 times in the face.
Wasn't dramatic enough for you.
Wanted to take a gasoline tanker through a mall because God told him to.
Remember how I said I don't want to like him? I don't like him at all anymore.
Yeah, you're over that smartass.
Yeah, I just thought that he was humorous at first.
Yeah.
Fuck him.
He described himself as a soldier in God's army, saying that he was duty bound. He felt compelled to kill, is how he explained it. When he got his quote-unquote marching orders, he went to his bedroom, put a 20-round mag into this .308 rifle, and shot his mother, Nick, from a few feet away. Like his mom, he stood over her, and Nick, he put the barrel into a Prius, so not a lot of space.
Can you imagine you're, like, looking at your child that you created and made, and, like, have supported and, like, probably, I'm assuming, defended, since, I mean, he still lives with her and stuff like that, and looking up to see him murdering you, like, or about to murder you? I can't. That's so sad.
Can't even imagine.
I can't imagine it.
Cannot wrap my head around that at all. So the thing that caught me is this story he gave about this was a command from God to kill. It took him 8 months to come up with this story as to being the reason why.
Oh, he didn't say it like the day that they interviewed him.
8 months later, after 2 continuances for mental evaluations, after all that, he comes up with this story. So I'm like, no. On that call, you've done it because you wanted to do it.
Yeah.
Like, he was very matter of fact about that. Whatever he thought his reasonings were, you did not get any type of assignment from God, mission from God to do this. So
My hair smells good.
I'm so glad your hair smells good.
Sorry.
How long do you think it took the jury to reach a verdict in this case?
A couple days, maybe? A day or so?
12 minutes.
Oh, okay.
It took them 12 minutes to convict him of 2 counts of aggravated murder. And so they were supposed to reconvene X number of days later for the sentencing phase. So this man, who has no control over what he's doing, suddenly gets some sense and was like, maybe I should not trust the jury that it only took them 12 minutes to convict me for sentencing. So he then decides, I would like to reach a plea deal. Because this was a death penalty state. Like, death penalty was on the table.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So they said that both sides, even the prosecution, was shocked when the jury was like, we have a verdict. And they're like, we haven't even got to pee yet. Like, it was quick.
I'm sorry.
Hi. All right. And so he ended up agreeing to a life sentence. So what the options were for the jury, had he taken that route, was death penalty, a true life sentence, which I'm assuming is the same thing as life without the possibility of parole, or a minimum of 30 years in prison. He took the plea deal and he got life sentence without parole, and he waived any rights to appeal in the future. That was the plea deal that he ended up taking for sentencing. So 16-year-old Nicky, like I said, it was staying with his grandmother like he did every year. They were supposed to go back to California the following day. His parents described him as the light of all of our lives, a young man of strong faith who loved family and life itself. He was also an accomplished drummer in his band.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, and he had dreamed to go to college on the West Coast as well.
You don't know the band name?
I don't, like the high school marching band.
Oh, I thought you meant like band.
No. And then Sue was described as a beloved mother and grandmother who doted on her grandchildren, who she loved spending all of her spare time with. Here's the part that surprised me. She was a licensed social worker, held a master's degree in social work, and formerly worked in the psychiatric department of a hospital in California.
So she probably thought she was doing everything she could.
She did. She probably felt equipped
Yeah.
to handle whatever mental issues that her son had.
Damn.
She also was a master gardener, and she had a corgi named Cadwin who went to a good home. He was placed in protective custody.
As he should.
As how the officers described it. And he went to a good home.
I bet he's so sad. I bet, like, he was there and herded it.
A neighbor said that she, like, walked him every day at
Oh,
the dog
no.
park. Like, she was such a good dog mom.
That breaks my heart.
I know. But I wanted to let you know the dog was okay.
I mean, yeah, but, like, he's probably so sad. He lost
Of course
his mama.
he is. He dealt with a lot of stuff that day.
Yeah, I'm sure living with him is probably not all peaches and grapes. What is that expression?
Peaches and grapes?
When it's like...
Peaches and cream?
Is that the expression?
Life is peachy?
You know what I'm talking about? Like, it's
No,
not all-
obviously, I'm just spitting shit out. I have no clue.
No, like, the expression is like, it's not all peaches and... Is it peaches?
I think peaches.
Peaches and cream?
I think that's it.
I don't know what it is. The dog probably thought it wasn't peaches and grapes.
I went straight Hard Candy Christmas by Dolly Parton for some reason.
Oh my God. I'm trying to think of... It's an expression, like things aren't all jolly. I don't know what the expression is. What is the expression? I'm about to Google it.
Please Google this expression, because now I need to know.
It's like peaches...
Hunky-dory?
I mean, that's a way. I mean, I assume you rednecks say it like that, but...
You rednecks, okay.
Life is all...
Daisies. Coming up daisies.
Peaches and cream, apparently.
Oh, I got it right. Never heard that expression. I've heard peaches and cream, but not as an expression for life.
Did you know peaches were a symbol of fertility?
I know it's the ass emoji, so maybe.
Yeah, apparently.
And also, eggplant. Did you know that eggplant is not called eggplant outside the U.S. or, like, some places?
Uh-huh.
Like, in the U.K. They don't use the word eggplant.
What do they use?
Aubergine? I think I'm screwing that up.
Spell it.
Aubergine, maybe?
Lying.
No,
You're a
seriously,
liar.
they do not call it eggplant.
Okay.
We've gotten off topic.
I'm sorry.
A little bit.
Peaches and grapes.
Peaches and grapes. Life was not peaches and grapes
For the corgi.
for the Wallace family.
Oh, yeah, that too.